Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. Today I'm going to tell you about this beautiful 2021 Tesla Model Y long range dual motor. So the dual motor means this one's all-wheel drive. If you're in the market for one of the best battery electric vehicles out there, this is the one. I think, obviously things are always changing, but right now, as of August 2021, a lot of EV experts consider the Model Y to be one of the best battery electric vehicles on the market. Crossovers are very popular, so the Model Y is a crossover version of the Model 3. It's about, I think, 15-20% bigger than the Model 3. It's got a little bit more space, a little bit higher ride height, so you have a little bit higher commanding view of the road. The seats are a little bit higher, but with the weight of the battery still very low, it offers amazing handling and very low rollover risk. In fact, the Model Y, as far as I know, is the lowest rollover risk of any crossover vehicle, period, battery or gas. And it's also one of the safest vehicles that you can buy, battery or gas. If you look up the safety ratings in the Model Y, it's pretty high up there. Low rollover risk. It's kind of fun to watch, actually. I'm trying to roll over the Teslas. They have a special machine where they'll push the vehicle sideways very fast, and then it will go into a pile of sand, and you can see them trying to get the Teslas to roll over, but it will just stand there for a little bit, and then it will just flop back down. Oops, it looks like I accidentally opened the rear tailgate by accident. All right, so the Tesla Model Y long range comes with lots of standard equipment, and as far as features on any Tesla, it's hard to kind of quantify which vehicle has what features, because Tesla is constantly adding features and improvements to their vehicles. Where traditional auto manufacturers, they might add new features with every model year. They're adding new features. Maybe one Model Y that was built 2 or 3 months ago has different features than one that was just built. So they're always adding features. But this is a 2021 model, so it's pretty up to date. They started making the Model Y in 2020. So this one has 7,195 miles. This has the Autopilot with convenient features, and it has their premium connectivity. Premium connectivity is definitely worth it. It's about $10 a month. When you first own this vehicle, they give you a month trial. That allows you to stream music, allows you to have the Google Maps. And then if you have a good enough connection, you can also like watch YouTube. You can play video games, stuff like that. Really cool stuff. So basically, using the Model Y or most Teslas, it's very intuitive. It's probably one of the best user interfaces in any vehicle. It's like using a giant iPad. You just kind of mess around with the different menus, and just like using your iPhone or a smartphone, you kind of figure things out pretty quick. It's all pretty straightforward. They don't make it difficult. So I want to talk about Autopilot, because people generally have a lot of confusion as far as Autopilot and full self-driving, because one of the number one questions I think people ask us about any Tesla that we have is, does it have the full self-driving? Well, really, right now, obviously things could be different a month from now or a year from now. There's really no Teslas that have the full self-driving. Full self-driving still in beta, and the people that are actually using the beta, it's limited to about 2,000 people. Eventually they're going to widen that beta, where maybe it might be like 100,000, or basically anyone who subscribes or owns a full self-driving software will have the upgraded beta. But right now, if you have full self-driving in your Tesla, or you subscribe to it, it does not give you full self-driving. Basically, it gives you some extra features like navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, smart summon, auto park, things like that, but it's not going to drive itself. It's not going to take right and left hand turns by itself, even if you have the full self-driving or the subscription right now, unless you're into the very limited beta, which is only 2,000 people. Eventually that will happen. So my opinion right now, I don't think buying full self-driving or subscribing to it is really worth it. Maybe if you're into technology, you want to have like the latest tech and features and you can afford it, then maybe subscribe to it. And also another thing I want to point out is Tesla can be a little bit tricky about add-ons. For instance, full self-driving usually only sticks with the vehicle when you buy the full self-driving, when you buy that Tesla new. For instance, if you buy the Tesla and then you buy the full self-driving 2 or 3 months later, then you sell it to someone else, I've heard stories of actually the full self-driving getting deleted to the next customer. You know, this is stuff I've heard. It's not 100% true, but I've seen examples of it happen. So just something to think about. Like if you do buy a Tesla and you do buy the full self-driving, it might not be a feature that you can pass on to the next person if you just decide to sell it to a dealer or another customer. But I digress. Let's go back to talking about Autopilot. So this has Autopilot with convenient features. On earlier Teslas, it was a $3,000 option, but now, I think it was in 2020, they made Autopilot with convenient features pretty standard, pretty much on all Teslas. So Autopilot enables your car to steer, accelerate, and brake automatically from other vehicles and pedestrian within its lane. That's the key part, within its lane. Available features vary by market. Every driver is responsible for remaining alert and active when using these features and must be prepared to take action at any time. Autopilot with convenient features is amazing. I love it. I use it all the time whenever I use a Tesla. So basically, I'm driving on the highway, I'm driving on roads where the lanes are clearly marked, and it does work on 2-lane back roads. You do have to pay attention. The system does not see everything. It can't take, you know, hairpin corners. You always have to be able to intervene. But Autopilot with convenient features, what this one has, enables the vehicle to steer itself in its lane, and it will come to a complete stop. So basically, you have to show the car that you're paying attention. So when you have the auto steer on, you have to provide a little bit of torque to the steering wheel, not so much to break it off from its auto steer, but it's just letting you know, hey, I'm paying attention. So you just have to kind of wiggle the wheel a little bit or put a little pressure on it. And if you're in stop and go traffic, it really makes a big difference. You're cruising on the highway, the vehicle will steer itself and it will move the flow of traffic all the way to a complete stop. And another feature that they added is traffic light recognition. So on this one, it's not going to automatically stop for traffic lights. You have to do that. It will stop for a traffic light if the vehicle in front of you is stopping for it, but it will not recognize a traffic light and stop. But when the light does turn green, if you're not paying attention, it will give you a little tone, just letting you know the traffic signal changed, so you don't have people beeping at you. So they're always adding in cool features like that. So basically, Autopilot with convenient features will satisfy most people's driving needs. It's a great system. Then when Tesla comes out with Autopilot, which will give you auto steer on city streets, then okay, we're talking about maybe it might be worth the $200 or the $10,000. Basically, when auto steer on city streets comes out, you can program something, a destination and navigation. This will drive, it'll make left and right hand turns, it will stop for pedestrians. It'll still be in beta, you're still going to have to pay attention, you're going to have to be ready to intervene, but basically the car is very close to driving itself. Then when that gets out of beta, then hopefully they'll have the level 5 autonomous driving where basically the car can drive itself, park itself, you can take a nap, you can be watching the iPhone and the car will 100% drive itself, and that will be a big deal. That could be years away, a couple of years, 5 years. I'm a big, Tesla fan. I've been a long-time investor. I follow their news and updates pretty frequently. That's why I like buying used Teslas to sell and do these long-winded videos that are usually 4 times longer than some of the other videos I do, just because I like these so much. But when that happens, obviously, then the full self-driving will be worth it. And sorry I spent a lot of time on this, but there is a lot of misinformation out there, I find, with customers calling us on Teslas about full self-driving and what it gives you. So basically everything else on this vehicle is very intuitive. The climate control system, I love, you just grab it and you tell where the airflow to go. It's a very cool system. It's something like if Apple designed a car, it'd probably be a lot like this. And I did hear rumors of back in the day that Apple and Tesla were pretty close to merging. So the Tesla Model Y, this is a dual motor one. I think it's about 360 to 380 horsepower if I remember. Well, maybe it's a little bit less than that. Maybe it's 270. I'll put the estimated horsepower on the screen. I don't know if Tesla actually tells you exactly how much horsepower it makes, but 0 to 60 is a little under 5 seconds, which is pretty good. And obviously with electric cars, there's no downshifting. You have that power right away. instantly. And obviously no transmission tunnels. The floor is very flat, lots of interior space. I'm 6'2", I have a ton of interior space back here. I love this huge glass roof panel. It makes it feel nice and bigger and brighter in here. And it does a really good job getting out the UV rays. It's pretty hot. Even when the sun's beating down on you, surprisingly, there's not that much heat that goes through that glass roof panel. And Tesla has amazing batteries. They have an amazing thermal management system on the battery. It's so amazing that actually if you don't plug this in every day and charge it, you'll probably lose about 10-15 miles of range just from the thermal management of the batteries depending on the temperature. Tesla wants to keep these batteries happy, and when you keep the batteries happy and in an optimum temperature, then you'll get the longest range and longest life out of them. The batteries are actually so good that Tesla anticipates the batteries actually lasting longer than the vehicle. Eventually they want to get to the point where they'll have a closed loop system where instead of having to mine minerals from batteries out of the dirt, it's a lot easier to mine, you know, the minerals and metals and stuff you need from batteries out of old, you know, recycled batteries or refurbished batteries. So, you know, people worry about, you know, battery length and in cars and electric cars because it can be expensive. Well, Tesla has a very long warranty on their batteries, and if they anticipate the battery is lasting longer than the car, that can be a very long time. Probably, I think the way they design these right now, they expect the batteries in the drive units, like the electric motors in the vehicles, to last 400,000 or 500,000 miles. Maybe later down the road it might get to the point where they can go 1,500,000 miles, and at the same time with very little maintenance. Unlike a gas-powered car, you don't have, you know, 2,000 moving parts. There's very few moving parts in an electric car, so there's very few things to go wrong. With regenerative braking, you're not going to use your brakes as much either. In fact, you don't have to use this brake at all. With the aggressive regenerative braking, you can pretty much drive this thing with one pedal when it's not in autopilot mode. So if you're looking for one of the best, safest battery electric vehicles, or one of the best vehicles period right now, you're looking at it, at least in my opinion, I think this is probably one of the best out there. And obviously we work for an Infiniti store. I have an Infiniti 17 years. I own 2 Infinitis, so you know, I love all sorts of cars. I'm a used car enthusiast, but in my opinion, you know, I've driven a lot of things. Tesla's definitely onto something with this Model Y. I'm very impressed by it. Come in, take it for a drive. We'll show you all the amazing features, and you might be too. If you're a little bit further away, we have complimentary shipping to pretty much anywhere in Oregon and Washington. We can put it on our car hauler, tow it to you, and then we also ship nationwide as well. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day.